But you know, when you look at Blu-ray, it
it
can look almost 3D anyway.
Yeah.
If you have a good Blu-ray.
because you have, but then again, you have to really match everything up to make that work. But we were talking to people who were supplying glasses for Journey to the Center of the Earth, which is actually owned by Brendan Fraser. He's the producer and creator of that thing. They thought they were going to sell 10 million set of glasses to people for DVDs. It didn't come out on DVD. It didn't come out 3D on DVD because they've got a problem with them. Okay, they've decided that one system shall be used for Blu-ray, but the problem is the HDs have got a problem. There's like 14 different versions of 3D. And I don't know what I think that Toshiba is still proprietary for Toshiba.
It probably is. I'm not certain.
Yeah.
But I know they've been doing
What they've
things
done
like
is
that.
they probably put the filters are the same that goes in their active shutter glasses. And they're going to stick you, if they're sticking you 120, actually they're going up to 150 from what I did read.
Really?
Yeah, they can't sell the things now, so they're going to raise the price by $25 a piece.
What I don't know is if their 3D TV is only 3D or can it also do 2D?
No, it does 2D.
Okay.
But that basically, the problem comes is if you get into those sweet spots, then you're watching the thing in 2D, and you move into the 3D area, all of a sudden you went from 2D to 3D, and it really gives you that wow. I guess the reason why 3D has never worked is because the human eye and the brain, what gets to hear is, it takes us a little nanosecond or something, but that thing is when you rock back. When you sat in a theater and say you go out, you get up out of your seat to go get some popcorn or a drink, and you look back and all of a sudden, whoa, you know, because your eyes have become accustomed to being away from the screen. You come back into the room, you don't have any problems watching it because you really can't see it in 3D until you get ready to sit down again, and then you go, oh. It's the effect because your eyes and your head have to get adjusted with one another. And if there was a big 3D thing over the screen, which they could do in a movie theater, I mean, you could sit there and give yourself a 20-foot filter to go over, to come down over your screen for 3D events. It can be simple. It's not that complicated.
You just drop it down.
You drop it down and raise it back up for when you're not using it again. So, but that's a simple thing. So nobody would have that. When they got up and moved away, it doesn't make any difference. It's still 3D, and you're done. You know, you're not having to wear glasses, which means you don't have to acclimate. I mean, when you came into the room from the outside, you'd have to acclimate because you're going from a bright area into a darker. But there would be none of that, and they simply refused to do what is the simplest, which is a simple filter over the television set or the movie screen. Solves all the problems.
Wow.
But they won't do it. I mean, they did it, they tried it. If I remember, the young ones in my family, basically back in those days, we did a thing, we put the thing on the screen, and they would sit there and fill in the 3D stuff on the cartoon show that was on. And, you know, they sat there with their little
What
crayon.
did you call it, Winky Dink?
I think it was Winky Dink and me, so. And they sit there and do this, and they draw with the character.
That's cool!
They filled in the rest of it to give you what was a 3D look. And it was all an optical illusion. But, you know, eventually the show went down because people got tired. You know, the kids grew up, they got tired of doing that stuff. I mean, but there are simple ways of doing things. Okay, here's my gripe with the people in the consumer electronics industry. They think the reason they can't sell is because their set isn't, it doesn't have all these hot features that are needed. They think that there's something wrong, but we can't sell it. They can't understand that people don't have any money. We're looking at a deal right now. Well, we're going to put on an extra 50,000 people. We're going to put on an extra 80,000 people. We're going to open a lot more, 400 more stores. When every forecaster in the whole bloody world said they're going to spend like 4 to 5% less this year than they did last year. Because they don't listen. They don't. They look at the people. They say, well, these stores are crowded. Yeah, they're not taking anything out of stores. They're all looking and thinking.
That sounds like last holiday season, where there was a lot of people going in and out, and they weren't coming out with anything.
Go to a parking lot on a weekend and see how many cars where people are actually taking merchandise out to the cars.
And look at how big the bags are.
They're not big bags. The bags are all getting smaller in the stores too. There's less merchandise on the shelves they do admit, well, we're not going to stock as much merchandise as we did last year. Isn't that a tip off that somewhere along the line, somebody in the company understands that there's not going to be as many sales, but they don't listen. I mean, they're not listening. We went to TV 3.0 last year. I mean, she had to go to a music thing at the same time, so I'm listening to the 3D people. And then, you know, after everybody's left, just the diehards on 3D are sitting in there, and they're talking about it. In fact, you know, they said earlier, he said, you know what I said, you know, we gotta have product. Give us the product and we'll create the channels. We've been promising 3D channels for a year. You know why there's no 3D channels? There's no material.
Well, that's true, because they have been, whether it's, well, your cable system, the telebroadcast system.
In all honest reality, we have the largest supply of 3D material available in the world that can go up immediately.
And you know how big we are.
And that's how big we are. And, you know, we have a whole television series done. We're getting ready to do more. We're getting ready to go live in 3D as soon as I can get my computer to recognize the camera. Okay, there's a funny thing about it. The new camera is so new that there's nothing, that basically the stupid operating systems don't recognize it as a camera. They recognize it as a storage device, which is sort of a pain in the ass. But as soon as we can get that, because it's actually, it's one of the best pictures we've ever had. It works at CMOS, which does it in low light, and it's got stereo sound. We haven't had to use our directional mics or anything else when we've been outside with that thing. So,
yeah. So we've been playing with it, but I mean, it's amazing what's going on with the market with 3D. I mean, there's a lot more that's coming.
Yeah.
A lot more that's coming.
Yeah, but a lot more that's coming is basically more of, okay, it's...
You can see it's more of the same.
I mean, I could tell you a major company that's basically getting ready to turn out their 3D thing for the holidays. I could give you, if I had a paper now, I could tell you exactly what it looks like, and I've never seen it. Because I know what...
Because you know what, to do 3D, you know what
has to be done.
comprised
And
of.
I know that it's a lens on top of an existing piece of equipment, same as the Panasonics. Nobody wants the camera Panasonic is selling. They all want the lens.
Well, it's just days until it's supposed to be released.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking to Sony people, and the Sony people would like to get their hands on the aftermarket thing to put on their cameras. I mean, it's simple because they said Sony is known for lenses besides everything else. Panasonic has a lens that everybody wants. Everybody wants your lens. They don't want the camera. So if they want your lens, what would you be doing if you're a company that's got money problems? Turn out the lens with a conversion ring for every god-awful camera in existence. You could turn every current consumer camera into a 3D camera with that lens. You could sell, I mean, that like now, well, as far as I know, they cannot guarantee that 3D camera is going to be in anybody's hands.
Well, that's part, I mean, we are just literally days away.
Yeah, and we know people that can't get their hands on the camera. You know, we were promised this camera to show people. We've never seen it.
Well, we went to go look at it, and the guy didn't show up.
Guy didn't show up, and but the lens...
Due to lack of interest, they said.
Yeah, a lack of interest, but you could sell... I would bet you could probably sell 1 million of those lenses if they had them in the first week for consumer cameras. I mean, you would boost... They have something that companies want their hands on to put it on their cameras. You've got something to make your company the king of the hill. And so what are they doing? We're going to sell it as a package. Well, you know, people over at Panasonic, you want to know what people are doing with your camera if they get your hands on it? They're going to take the lens separate, sell the camera, lose $400 or $500 and connect the lens up to their cameras. They don't want your camera. They want the lens. Because any lens can be made to work with any camera today.
You just get an adapter.
You get an adapter and you use software. That's all it is. I mean, it's just two lenses focusing a thing onto the one picture. On the one picture, basically just focuses it down onto the single plane that you have to begin with. It's not complicated. I can do it with, we got 2 Sony Touches the other day. We're going to play with the Sony Touches and make a 3D out of them.
It's the new Bloggy Touch.
Yeah, the new Bloggy Touch. Yeah. And we're going to hook them up onto a rail and shoot some 3D stuff with both of them. It shows you how simple it is. And at the same time, since if we really wanted to, since our computers do recognize that, we could actually put them onto the thing, put them onto the track, and basically maybe put it up in 3D at the same time it's being done. That's how simple it is. As soon as we get that software, which we don't have yet. But the Toshiba thing, to me, is the most god-awful bit of stupidity ever existed, which is why they're having a problem. Well, if I remember right, it was the people over at Toshiba that said that, well, actually I got in trouble because I sat there on a press conference and drew a design of a piece of equipment that they never actually manufactured because there was no demand for it, because by the time the show was over, the Blue HD was dead.
Oh, they were going to do a combination HD Blu-ray.
Yeah, and I sat there while they were doing a press conference and designed the piece of equipment that they would use, and they got somewhat unhappy, wanted to know where I'd got this information, and basically it was on the back side of
their press sheet.
Their press sheet they gave me, so. But it died that afternoon when we went to they canceled the HD thing, and we went to the Blu-ray thing, and there wasn't any reason for anybody to go to the Blu-ray thing because Warner Brothers had basically ceded the war to the Blu-ray people for $300 million. But Toshiba, it was Toshiba, wasn't it, that said about 3 years ago that that basically they're bringing out the bling TV sets, the ones that designers because we found out that women.
Oh, that was Philips.
Philips. We found out that people want to buy, women want to buy sets because of the bling that because it looks silver, it's got a designer name, it's got jewels on it.
We had all those USB flash drives with Swarovski crystals.
Yeah, and
they were pretty.
Basically, the room was filled full of women that, in other words, like you blankety blank little miserable little pigs. And the guys up front are, the guys in the press, they're backing up. They're in a room that is basically 50% full of women press, and telling you how women basically don't buy things because of the price. They buy things because they're cute. No. And women are more cost conscious when it comes to those things. Mel will buy something because, hey, that's neat. Women don't tend to buy something because it's got one little Swarovski crystal. It's pink. Yeah, the guys tend to buy the pink ones, which is funny, not the girls. Look how many Mel's have got these pink things, and they aren't gay.
Are you serious?
Well, because they can keep track of them.
Oh, well, that's another thing.
You set them down. Well, I don't have it on my card case. It's pink.
Because you got it at a fashion event.
I got it at a fashion event, but it's the one I use because it's the only one I can ever find. I can't find my leather one, but they had this idea. It's the same thing as Toshiba. Toshiba gives this idea. We design a set that basically is going to be worse than what we already offer, but because you can actually watch 3D without having the glasses on, you're going to come and cheer for us. No, it says
but it's still exciting because it's the first one out there.
Yeah, but I can go get a sheet of filter material, put it on the top of.
I know.
Okay,
but
give me 1 million TV sets from the worst factory in China, and so give me those $69 really 19-inch crappy things in, high def, and give me some screening material, and I'll put the screening material on it. You can see the stupid 2D stuff through the screening material, and when the 3D comes on, then it's 3D. It doesn't have much of an effect. It's just a screen over the top. That's all it is. It's a transparent screen that's basically got bridges in it.
It's actually like a filter.
Yeah, it's just a filter. It doesn't make any difference. You can see the 2D right through it because if you get up close, then you can see it. But the rules of thumb are you should set 10 to 15 foot away from your television set. You set 10. Basically, it
what size?
Yeah. Well, that's what it says. Most rooms aren't that big, but the problem is most people will crawl up on their big screen TVs and sit in the floor and watch. I mean, Monty does, but she can't at the moment because we got a problem with
the cable.
With her cable. So, but and she's pissed about it. But I can do it. I can give you a 3D set. Tomorrow. I'll give the whole world 3D sets that basically you don't have to have glasses on to see. That's how simple it is. Nothing complicated. They just won't do it because, well, if it's that simple, then there must be something wrong with it. And if it's that simple, why hasn't somebody else did it before? Well, they did. And people just, the word is product, product, product. Give us the product and then we'll build the channels. They don't want to do it because it takes so much extra effort to do 3D and